And finally, welcome to the stage. Keep it going. Your final act of the night. The incredible, the hilarious, the fantastic Kerry-Ann Boyko.
So I took it to mean that new material night meant stuff you hadn't got memorized, and I was wrong. So let's get the obvious out of the way. Yes, as you guys can clearly tell by looking, I am American. I used to live in Texas, and I left there because I just got tired of all the gun violence. I live in Lewisham now because I love knife crime. I mean, if you're used to gun violence, knife crime's quaint. You're walking along at night, suddenly someone jumps out of the bushes wearing a balaclava and a powdered wig, going like, "Stand in the coin, madam, lest I be forced to gut you from chicken gizzard to pleasure pivot with your switching blade. Now, don't be cheese parry me. I want to see every last farthing and halfpenny." I gotta love London, you know, they're good old-fashioned artisanal muggins. American muggins are nothing like that. It's purely transactional. There's no whimsy to it. I will say that there's been some culture shock. I ended up, going to my first corner store and basically was hit in the face with the revelation that crumpets were real. I thought they were a made-up fairy tale. Like what a princess would feed to a unicorn. So I had to try them, took them up to the counter. Guy said it was going to be £2, and I asked what I thought was the world's most natural question in that situation. How many pounds are in a quid? Guy told me it was 10 pounds to the quid. I don't shop there now. I shop at Aldi. There it's only 7 pounds to the quid. One thing I also have to get used to is the weather, because I'm used to the Texas seasons, you know. Spring, summer, summer-er. But London winter, man, my seasonal depression got so bad last winter, I barely had the energy or the motivation to even put up the Christmas noose. I'm kidding. I don't even know how to tie a noose. I'd have to use a clip-on noose. You know, like the ones I make for little kids. I did try to Google how to tie a noose, but when you type that into Google, it just spits back the number for the Samaritans. And they don't know either. At that point, my algorithm was so messed up, I started getting targeted ads for rat poison. Microsoft Clippy popped up and said, "Hey, looks like you're writing a suicide note. Would you like to use one of our many templates?" So the last set of jokes, you may have guessed, I wrote at a particularly dark time in my life, but one that, thank God, 6 months ago, I've been doing better since, and that's when I realized that, yes, I am in London. No, yes, I am trans, and I am a trans woman. Thank you. I will say that it did take me quite a while to figure that out, mostly because I live in Texas, where repression is a survival skill. Like, being openly trans in Texas is just a good way to get shot, and I don't want to get any holes drilled in me, except the one. I can just imagine, I'm glad that I'm going through this here in London, as transphobic as it can be at times, because, God, the healthcare situation back in the States, it ain't pretty. Like, if I decided to have GRS, I can just imagine, me just sitting there clinically up in the stirrups while the doctor's 100 yards downrange back at the firing line, wiping his glasses on his coat. The joke there is that he can't see very well. That was part of the news stuff. and I know I should have figured it out sooner. Like, I remember, but there were always like little things. I remember when I was a teenager, I had such a crush on this pretty little teenage girl. I thought to myself, damn, I would cut both of my balls off just to see her smile. And then I thought, wait a minute. Why? Is that my plan A? Even back then, I knew most men would start with flowers. So I've been moving along now. I just finished my first 3-month anniversary of HRT. Of course, I had to have a special order because all the doctors here are used to treating English people. They're not used to treating Texans, so they gave me 2 patches. The one on my left hip is estrogen. The one on my right hip is Tex-Mextrogen. Basically, this one provides sugar, spice, and everything nice. Salsa verde and guacamole. I will say that I'm not used to the paperwork that's going to be, like, I got to do a deed poll. Legally, my name ain't Carrie Ann. It's still, that old Texas masculine Sue. It's Brian, but I don't go by that no more. And I got to fill out a deed poll, and then I got to go down to all the casinos and have them change my poker nickname. Basically, here in London, all the poker players before it came out know me as Texas Slim. And me getting a name like Texas Slim, that's how you know you're playing with a couple of jokers, let me tell you. That's a good chuckle. I'll work on it. Spin it around. But I do got to come up with a new poker nickname, and there's some obvious candidates. Like, if I don't like Texas Slim, there's always Virginia Slim. There's also Texas Skinny Bitch. But I think I'm just going to go with the name I choose if I was a cowgirl. Butch Transbian. And whatever it is, it's got to be better than my poker nickname back in Texas. Local Slim. Yeah, that's also on the new list. I'm also very lucky, and I do know that not enough trans people can say this, but I do have the support of my immediate family. Support don't mean they ain't freaked out, but they do support. And I'm glad that they are 100% behind me going through this journey and transitioning to be a woman. Although I don't quite know how they're going to react when I tell them I'm a lesbian. Probably something like, nobody in this family is going to get a vagina installed unless they've had to put tons of cock in it like the good Lord intended. I do like my family. My dad, who I was doing a little impression of, he's not actually like that in real life. He's actually the kindest, sweetest, gentlest soul you'll ever meet, who happens to own what could be conservatively described as an arsenal of assault weaponry. I made the mistake once of asking him exactly how many guns he owned, and I was not prepared for the answer. I knew the number would be up there, and I don't really matter about that, but the answer he came back with was, about 80-ish. Look, it's different. Texas is a different culture. I'm not worried about the 80. But I don't think any number of guns in private possession should ever end in an ish. You never want to be explaining to the police how many guns you have, give or take. Because depending on who's doing the giving or the taking, chances are you're being framed for murder. And I'm worried about him because, my dad himself is pushing 80-ish. It's gotten to the point where the state requires him to renew his driver's license every year and his concealed carry every 5. Okay, that one's not coming back. All right, right here. Now, Mom, on the other hand, she was a little upset, but not nearly as bad as she was when she found out that I was moving to London. That freaked her out more than being trans was. And the reason why is because my mom is American Irish, or as she would put it, Irish. Look, I know it's a cliche that the Americans think they're Irish and they're really American when they go to Dublin, but there is some truth to that, because best and most racist way I can put this is that if you think of the Irish as a potato, American Irish are a potato salad. Sure, no one's ever going to confuse the two, but it's clear that the key ingredient in the potato salad is the potato. And then if you take the potato out of the potato salad, all you're left with is just a whole bunch of white stuff and wine. Oh, I should skip ahead. No, I'm gonna, I'm gonna dig that hole deeper. Basically, I'm practicing. Dean got it. Just think about it a little bit more, and it's gonna be like a slow burn. Like sometime in the night, everybody's gonna get it at one point. And that was actually unintentional innuendo. The only time when I told her I was moving to London, the only thing that would calm her down was that I promised that if the troubles did start up again, I would be in the perfect position to sabotage the English infrastructure, which is complete bullshit because I'm an app developer. Worst thing I could possibly do is mess with the Tinder algorithm in order to encourage inbreeding among the British political elite. Let's be honest. I don't think they've noticed, do you? I'm also not the only kid in my family, and I'm also not the only kid in my family who's trans. I've got a trans brother named Jeb. And Jeb, I came out 6 months ago at the age of 43. Jeb came out at the age of 20, about 22 years ago. So that kind of puts the whole debate over which one of us is the thick one to rest. We're actually both kind of bright. We're bright in different ways. Like, okay, growing up, we used to love playing Monopoly. And we played to win. So what I did was I memorized all the dice probabilities, started calculating investments, read all the rules. I remember one time my teacher called my parents in for a conference because they caught me doing amortization tables for Old Kent Road at recess. Actually, I think that might have been the first time I ever heard the word autism mentioned. Point is, that was how I handled it. As for Jeb, well, they are still finding secret caches of Monopoly money all over my parents' house to this day. When Jeb was 13, still presented as female, we thought that he was padding his training bra with tissues. No, it was Monopoly money. I mean, thank God we didn't play Scrabble. That would have given away. It would have been like 2 maracas every time he walked. Don't worry, we're going to get back to the good stuff soon. The one thing I do want to qualify is that while I say I do have the support of my family, that does not extend to my extended family. I got a cousin, and everybody's got one of these. I got a cousin, Jethro. And Jethro, let's just say he's one of those people that got real offended when they made Ariel black. I told him just to use Helvetica Bold and be done with it, but no. Jethro straight up told me he don't believe a trans woman is a woman, but he do believe in Sasquatch. Just because one time he swears he saw a Sasquatch drunk off his ass on Hennessy. I should clarify. The Sasquatch was drunk off his ass on Hennessy. What Jethro was drinking don't have a name. But the key ingredients are Robitussin, turpentine, and red dye number 5. So, essentially, I know that this ain't normally the crowd that's curious. I mean, we're all pretty much knowing what's the deal is with trans people. But normally when I go to these things, it's like I have to say, look, you can ask me anything you want. I'll be happy to answer. Just don't ask about the genitals or what I plan to do with my genitals. I mean, I'm going to tell you because 90% of stand-up comedy is oversharing anyway. So the truth is I do plan to keep my testicles, but, you know, as a trophy. I'm planning on dipping them in glitter and encasing them in resin. I don't know what you're thinking. Pretty nuts. But for the most part, you don't ask about trans person's genitals. Basically, a trans person's genitals exist in a quantum state between why do you care and why do you need to know? And that waveform does not collapse until you observe or interact with those genitals. It's the genital theory of relativity. So anyway, I hope you had a good time tonight. I hope you all enjoyed performing if you performed, and watching if you're watching, and falling asleep if you fell asleep. No, that was appropriate response to that complete face plant into comedy's wall. So here's the thing. I normally have a closer that I can no longer use because the queen died. I'm not gonna go through the whole setup. I'm just gonna say that the punchline ended with the words Jubilee Vajazzlin. But once I get a new closer, you'll be the first to know. I've been Carrie Ann Boyko. I hope you enjoyed coming out tonight as much as I have.